Hello, very briefly, because many of you are asking questions about the reports in the Spanish media. And the reports in the Spanish media about the statement of Nicola Sturgeon are very, very good. Obviously, the mention of Catalonia is all over the media because it's an important issue. So first of all, let me tell you that I'm also a bit disappointed. I was expecting a different kind of a speech, but today I think it was about sending a message to Europe, not to Scotland. And I was expecting a date for a referendum. But if you remember, and if you follow the the sessions, the debates in Holyrood, the date for a referendum has to be approved by the Parliament, by the MSPs. So it was, well, a bit confusing. The most important thing is today, for example, in the Spanish media in El País published a very good interview with Nicola Sturgeon. This interview is this. Scotland will return to the heart of Europe. This is the interviews are pretty much a pretty good interview, by the way. And one thing is the main issue in all these reports in the Spanish media is about legality and legitimacy. And it's important because from my point of view, first of all, Scotland has to speak about a nation, a European nation now. So it has to show that it's a very serious, very respectful European nation to all Europe. And as you know, even if you want to win the debate in Scotland, you remember that in 2014, the argument of the Spanish veto was a very important one. So this is a change in the Spanish media. Even in the Spanish TV has reported pretty well the statement by Nicola Sturgeon. I think since 2014, things have been changing a lot in terms of reporting about Scotland. And of course, it's the issue of Catalonia. You have to remember that we have another Spanish government. It's not Mariano Rajoy anymore. It's not the right-wing party. And the right-wing party, the friends of Cameron and all these Tories, Carlo and Ruth Davidson, who, by the way, she was in meetings, in secret meetings with the Popular Party to have the same speech against independence. That argument was the main issue to convince a lot of Scots and a lot of EU citizens in 2014. So now, here in Spain, we're in the middle of a negotiation between the state and Catalonia. The judiciary problem is still there because it's very difficult to solve this now. But at least there an attempt to negotiate and to have meetings between Catalonia and the state. It's going to be very complicated. It's going to be very difficult, but the Catalan issue has been handled by the Catalan part and by the Spanish part in a very bad way. So I understand that many of you in solidarity with Catalonia don't like the comments on Catalonia by the First Minister, but it's very important to say that from Catalan parties had considered that things in Catalonia, that referendum on the 1st of October was not, had no a good strategy. So it's important strategy, and it's important to make the strong case for independence in Europe. And as you know, the position in Europe about Scotland has changed a lot. But now you're winning your place in Europe. And by winning your place in Europe, that means that your first minister has to send a strong message. She has to show that Scotland is going to respect the international law, the rule of law. That Scotland is going to be very serious, and Scotland has to convince the 27 countries. So even when I was a bit disappointed with the speech from the first minister at the beginning, when I saw the headlines in the Spanish media and also in the French media and also in the German media, I understood that it's important because today's speech was not about you, Scots. It was about Europe and your colleagues in all the 27 countries. So that's my point of view. And some of you were asking about if the reports are good or bad. I think they are pretty good. They are good. I think it's quite important to point out the idea that Spain, all the foreign ministers since 2014 have insisted in that if it's a legal referendum, if it's a referendum according to law, Spain won't veto Scotland in the EU. And that point has to be clear, not just for Scotland, but for the rest of the European countries. So again, I think I'm sure I'm convinced that the speech from Nicola Sturgeon today was a speech for the European nations. It was an abroad speech, and I think she really did very well. So once again, if you have any question about that, if you need to know about things here in Spain, or if you need an explanation about any explanation about Spain, just please let me know by sending me a private message. Okay, I'll be delighted to answer your questions. Bye for now.